When I was a kid, I wanted to be the Lone Ranger. Like, I've always had those figures like Gus McCrae from Lonesome Dove, John Wayne. That's what I want to be. You know, I want to be that when I grow up. Because he's always the good guy. He's always the larger-than-life guy that walks into the room.
Well, I always thought everybody wanted to be a cowboy or a cowgirl. It's a way of life that's very romantic. It's honesty. It's Mother Nature. It's what God gave you.
The American cowboy is an icon. It's part of who we are, our identity as Americans.
Chris knew the two things he wanted to do in life. He wanted to be a cowboy and he wanted to be in the military. He was a rare breed. I know people like to say they don't make them like that anymore. They just don't, though. I mean, he was this great mix of just a good, strong soul, could endure just about anything. He learned so much from that cowboy part of him.
The minute that I went to my first high school rodeo here in this arena, I fell in love with the whole show, the whole thing. And I just wanted to be a part of it, some way, somehow. I just remember the feeling of like, man, I could be a cowboy. I'm gonna ride this bull. There's no doubt in my mind. If I hadn't found bull riding, I was gonna find something else dangerous and something else that was way too hard for me. But looking back on it now, I think the bull was just a representation of something I was looking for, because I knew that it was gonna be tougher than any mountain I'd ever climbed.
We're on our way to a destination. If you want to go someplace, you need to get on the right road.
Played in front of 61,000 people, and I'll never forget riding a horse like that night. I kicked that horse and I rode as hard as I could. I was just running, leaving things behind. David Lee told me one time, good songs float around in the air. And if you're lucky, you'll grab it and you'll pull it out of the air and you'll put it down.
The first time I listened to the song Dear Rodeo, I cried because it was so much of Chris's spirit in there.
I realize this song's not about rodeo. We have these dreams sometimes that we think, this is what's gonna fulfill my life. And then that rug's jerked out from under you.
I know Chris would not have imagined the influence he has on so many people. He didn't want to write a book, and he ended up doing it because he needed to serve.
Even if the dream doesn't come true, doesn't mean that a dream is not going to come true.
It's kind of like rodeo released me.
Peace is one of the most valuable things we could ever have.
I'm still in love with you.
And he said, well, if you could talk to rodeo, what would you say?
Dear rodeo.
I didn't know that I was gonna have the opportunity to write something that would change my own life.